Hello, everybody. Thank you to everybody that's coming in here. Join this. Hey, hello. What's this? Make it big.
I love this shirt, but there are some times where it's more necessary than others.
Yes.
And today's the day.
Woo, today is a day. Let me tell you something. First off, thank you to everybody that is coming. That is curious to hear, our side of things, because I know we haven't really been too active in the comment section. And man, let me tell you, this was the most hated video, the one that we did the documentary on. Well, first off, episode 9 was like really despised as far as the like ratio goes. It was like about 52%. And then we did the documentary and it dropped all the way down to 32%. Easily the most hated video on the channel, and for valid reasons. For valid reasons, I can certainly understand the hate. I certainly get it. It's legit for some of the concerns.
I can understand concerns, like you said. I don't understand hate. Mm-hmm. I do understand concerns, though. Right. I do understand conversation. Let's just put it that way. I do understand opinions. I do understand perspective. Yeah. So that part, absolutely, I understand. Yeah. So. I'm curious.
I am curious. And this is coming at a very, very important time. We did not plan this to coincide with the district attorney's decision that just came out a couple of hours ago. I think maybe just 2 hours ago. That was just mere coincidence. But there are some things that I think maybe need some contextualizing. We're going to be online for about at least a good hour, and we are going to address some of the questions. If by some chance you just have a question that you just absolutely have to get off your chest, there is the super chat for that. I don't want to promote that, but if you just absolutely have to get it off your chest, that is a way that we can see your message above everybody else's, and we will address it. But I guess let me go ahead and kind of like set the stage.
Okay.
So we created, this is first off, let's be clear. This is a reaction channel. This is not a court TV channel.
Correct.
Okay. So let's set that part. And we have previously done a reaction by the same producers of the show Monsters for Dahmer. For Dahmer.
So same series, different.
Same series.
Yeah.
Same series.
Different season.
Different season, yeah. Right? And we got such a positive response. Well, no, let me not say that. We got such a good enough response that we were like, we absolutely have to do season 2 on the Menendez brothers. Don't get me wrong, the one on Dahmer had some people that felt a certain kind of way about that as well. Mm-hmm. But we knew that going in, that this is one of those projects that is going to have some people feeling one way and some people feeling the other. But it certainly didn't get the response that the Menendez brothers have. Like the Dahmer one, we went into it not knowing anything outside of maybe during the times when it was happening, maybe, being adjacent enough to maybe hear a headline from time to time. We knew who Dahmer was, and we took kind of like the same energy for the Menendez brothers as well. And now I can only speak for myself on this one. I knew absolutely nothing about the case outside of the fact that it was just kids that killed their parents. And I kept it moving. So we went into this not knowing a thing. And then once we got done watching the very biased Netflix special, we went into the documentary, still not knowing anything, because the goal of a reaction channel is for the reaction to be pure. What you're seeing in real time is how we're feeling. And then when we jumped into the documentary, we thought that there would have been more clarification from what we saw in the Netflix special, and that for me did not happen. So that's kind of like setting the table, and then we'll kind of want to address like some of the questions. I'm sure. Was there anything that you wanted to add to that?
No, I agree with everything that you said. I know that I also did not know much about it. I was very young at the time that all of this happened. Yeah. And I'm sure because of the nature of the situation, I was probably shielded from some of it. Yeah. Like, a lot of people our age at that time were. Yeah. So going into it, I went into it, like we said, as a reaction. I mean, it was a reaction to, to a episode of of a series. So that part was very true. And then, I say this because I don't know. Had I watched the documentary prior to the series, and I had talked to you about this earlier, maybe my perspective may have been different. I don't know, because that's not the way that it went down.
Yeah.
So I'm just very, just curious to answer questions and to have conversation, because that's one of our favorite things about having this platform, is having conversations and whatever that looks like.
I think one of the very first questions that I just saw, we're just kind of going in sequential order for now. One of the first questions that popped up, this one came from Lady Dynamite. Sorry. Excuse me. I said there's a difference between feelings or opinions and showing empathy, though. So empathy was like a really big thing that I saw popping up. Now, you also have to keep in mind, like, we really did a good job of kind of like avoiding the comments as much as we can, because we didn't want it to kind of like make our reaction not true. We tried to like keep the palette as clean as we possibly could. But there was times I would glance in, and empathy was one of the big ones. The big one being the laughing. The laughing, I think, was the one that really got people pissed off the most. Do you want to start? Do you want me to kind of?
I mean, you can start, and then I'll.
So let me tell you. So the laughing, here's my thing with that. People were upset specifically with episode 9, when most of the trial stuff was going down. And we had our snickers from here and there regarding what was being said. For me, we had already been exhausted with the story, and up until episode 7, we kind of felt strongly in one direction, and then episode 7 came and totally yanked the carpet out from under us and put everything in doubt. Once everything went in doubt, and we said in the episode, in the comment section, it's like, we don't really know what to believe in. There's everything, nothing is black and white, everything is gray. And then I personally felt like a lot of this is just starting to get absurd. And we even said in the post reaction as well, it's like, I'm starting to get tired. And we didn't know if that was like a choice from the producers, if they wanted to do that to make us kind of feel like how the general public felt regarding it as well. So by the time we got to episode 9, the absurdity of what we was watching was just, it was laughable. And we literally laughed at most of the stuff that was going on. And then, of course, the other part when the brothers were taken off, that's a whole other conversation. How are you feeling?
There's 2 super chats, just to give you a heads up.
Okay,
but I do want to but I do want to respond to the question, or to the comment. For me, and I know I've talked about this before, like, I understand that laughing is kind of like a coping mechanism.
Absolutely.
So for me, like, I laugh a lot, like, just in life in general, because if I don't, like, things that are very heavy like this, they kind of can affect me. So for me, like, I laugh when things are funny, or when there's music that I'm like, oh, and I might be remembering something Milli Vanilli, they're not real. I mean, they literally were lip syncing their music, like they weren't legit artists. And so, like, that in general, just in itself, is something that's comical for me from my childhood. So I'm not like, so I don't mean to laugh to not be empathetic, or to show that I'm not a caring and kind or concerned individual, or that I don't take it seriously. It's just that for me, I cope with things in the way that I cope with things, and as my reaction to certain things that were being said or happening, I mean, sometimes I laugh.
Okay, all right, no, that's fair. Let me see. Anything else before I just super chat? First off, thank you to for those that are willing to jump into the super chat in order to get your questions addressed. Let's see. Biggest thing in the show was
rambling on with Zach Jones. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Rambling on with Zach Jones. Typically, we have like a horn.
Yeah, and applause, but I just wanted to at least say who was.
Yeah, and we were already in the land of inappropriate, and I don't want to make that even worse. Rambling on with Zach Jones said, "Thank you for the super chat. Biggest thing is the show was very insensitive to the brothers. They knew that not everyone knows about the case. You can't depict a real event from one point of view. It comes off biased and it's confusing." Well, first off, thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. But let me be clear, and we said this also before the series even started, all series that are based on true events are biased. All of them. There's not a single one where the writer has not included some things for the sake of entertainment, omitted some things in order to keep a storyline. That's just the nature of when Hollywood is saying something that's based on real events in real lives. It's that way in a series, it's that way in the movies, and it's even that way in a documentary. But I will co-sign and say this. The way the brothers were depicted in the beginning, they were depicted as morons, as imbeciles. And I personally, I'm only gonna speak for myself. Yeah. I personally took that and kind of ran with it, because that's how they were introduced to me through the showrunner's eyes. I hope that kind of like maybe answers that. Anything you want to add to that before we jump to the next one?
No, I mean, I agree with most of that, except for the last part that you said. I have, my own opinion with that.
Absolutely.
But I definitely agree that we've always said that, real life events based on a true story. We understood that it wasn't all factual, and that people's depictions of certain people or events was going to be, we call it Hollywoodized.
The Hollywoodification.
Hollywoodification of facts and events and people. So
Yeah. Okay. So let's thank you again, Ramblin'. Let's go. This one is from Common Girl. Thank you so much for the generous donation. Common Girl said, I hope you don't I hope you don't take some of the harsh personal attacks people are saying to heart. Some of the audience has actually dealt with this kind of abuse. Yeah. And essay in their own lives. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, thank you for that. One thing that I've learned from Syntell in general is that, it's all about conversation. It's about coming from a place of understanding and wanting to understand how other people view things, other people's experiences. So we try our best not to take things to heart. I know that I can be a little more sensitive. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I'm more sensitive than you are, but I mean, we definitely understand that everybody has their own experiences, their own life experiences, and that these type of shows and things and just life in general, different people have different reactions to them based off their own personal experiences.
Right. There's a continuation of the super chat too. Okay. So Common Girl said, I hope you don't take some of the harsh personal attacks people are saying to heart. Some of the audience has actually dealt with this kind of abuse and SA in their own lives. So certain reactions can be triggering on a different level. It definitely colored people's response. At the end of the day, everyone just wants to be heard. Yeah. I certainly, I'm with you on that. Here's the thing, for me regarding this. Like I said, I think the brothers were probably depicted incorrectly. Maybe not. I don't know. But to me, how they were depicted in the very beginning as slow-witted, to me, they weren't intelligent criminals. So to me, initially, when we first get started, without even knowing when the essay stuff was coming in, I was like, wow, okay, these might not be the world's smartest criminals. Then when the essay kind of gets introduced, we had a moment where we were like, okay, based off of the trauma that they've had in their lives, this makes perfect sense. Because we talked about how maybe their growth may have been stunted as a result of the trauma and all kinds of things that can justify why they were acting the way that they did. I think, and I think people probably interpreted that as being insensitive to the assaults that was happening, more so to how we initially thought about who the characters were in the beginning. For me, that's just my personal thought of why that could have easily turned sideways and gone upside down. Anything you want to add to that real quick?
I mean, I just want to agree with the end part that everyone just wants to be heard. I definitely agree with that. And like I had mentioned, I just feel like depending on your life experience and things that you've encountered or heard or witnessed, or obviously it's going to affect the way that you view certain situations differently.
Yeah. And there's more I want to add to that, but I'm sure we'll get around to that. Thank you, Common Girl. We got another one coming in. This one is coming from Leilani. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, I just wanted to give some info from the case that was not in the show. That was not in the showcase. The song was used, but was chosen by Jose's company as he loved the song. Lyle was 21 and had the emotional age of a 10-year-old. Eric was 18 and had the emotional age of an 8-year-old. Right. So that's why when I was saying a little bit earlier regarding like they came off before I knew the information on that their trauma has caused their growth to be stunted. They came across to me as just like, oh gosh, these are the people that killed their parents. It started me off on the wrong path because of how they were initially depicted.
I can see that, and it's they're developmentally delayed based off of their childhood trauma,
right?
So yeah, that definitely affects how they. And I'm sure, obviously, when you're portraying someone who is 18 and they're supposed to be portrayed as an 8-year-old, obviously, yeah, they are going to have different like responses to things and interactions with people, and the way that they their affect and all that stuff, like all of that is going to be very different because you're trying to create someone who's 8 years old when they're a 20-year-old actor, you know what I mean? So of course that is going to be a little different. And thank you for that information based off of like telling their emotional age. I definitely appreciate that, Leilani.
Yeah. So what was the thing about the song? I just want something for the song was
used but was chosen by Jose's company as he loved the song.
Is that the very end with The Dream Is Over, the Milli song?
Or maybe at the funeral.
The funeral
is what I'm thinking.
The funeral song.
So I think that there was another song that was played, which is called Chosen.
Okay.
By Jose's company. Okay. Their dad was Jose.
Right.
Yeah. So Chosen was probably the song that was played or something, but they put Milli Vanilli on there.
Yeah, the Milli Vanilli. That's a whole other can of worms that we can maybe get to a little bit later.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next super chat. Once again, thank you so much. We're the people that really want to have what they need to say quickly are doing super chats. If that is how you want to go, that's fine. I'm not pressing it. We're not pressing it. But we are going to address those questions first, but we will go back to the main chat.
Absolutely.
And go through sequence regarding answering as many questions as we possibly can. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This super chat is coming from Thank You Next. Said, please do more research. We're all hopeful they can be out by Thanksgiving. They have done
so much with their time to demonstrate rehabilitation as well.
Okay, so how do you feel about the whole research part? Because we kind of talked earlier about how we tried to come into it with no research.
Yes. Thank you Next for the comment. Honestly, when it comes to the research aspect of it as a reactor,
okay.
A lot of times, I don't want to do research prior to watching a show because then my reaction is based off of my research versus based off of the show. Mm-hmm. So it kind of is that's a little of a wonky area for me because I don't want to do research prior to, because then I find out information, like I said, and then maybe my opinion is already skewed before I can react to the show. Right. And it's really about my reaction to the show versus my reaction to all the research that I've done. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Do you have more for that?
No, I think that's it. Now, if you're talking about in research in terms that now that we've watched the show and we've watched the documentary, that does make sense if you certainly want to get, a little bit more to the truth.
Absolutely.
I did some light research last night. I'm not opening up any law books and jumping into all the court cases. I'm just not moved in that sense. But as far as to get a better understanding of the content that we just got done watching regarding the series and the documentary, I was like, okay, let's see what else can add some more context to this. Because for me, like I said before, the documentary didn't clear up a whole lot more for me based off of what we had already seen. I thought there was going to be like this aha moment where it was like, okay, since episode 7, since we've kind of like are dealing in the gray areas of everything, I was really counting on the documentary to make things a little bit more clear, and it didn't for me. So we would have to kind of research on our own time to find out any more additional tidbits. But in the spirit of keeping the reaction true to this is a clean slate, our reactions were 100% authentic.
And I absolutely suggest and commend people, if that's their choice, to do more research on a topic, whatever the topic may be, whatever the conversation may be. I absolutely agree with that. Because that's, if there's something that I'm interested in, I do more research, or I read books about it, or whatever the case may be. But yes,
I guess if somebody does ask the question, what other additional things that we may have learned, we'll address that. But we want to make sure we address as many questions as we possibly can first. Thank you. Next, thank you so much for voicing your question and also contributing to the super chat. It really does mean a lot. Next one is coming on from Rambling On. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Rambling On with Zach Jones. Also, the director said that the brothers should be thankful for the show, and he's the reason that they are possibly getting a resentencing. Yeah, he's an a-hole.
I just want to say thank you for the comment and the information.
Yeah.
I believe that the director probably did say that, and I mean that unfortunately that's his perspective and opinion.
Yeah, that seems kind of harsh to say that you should be thanking me.
Yeah. That's very actually.
I don't know how accurate that is, but I'll take your word for it for the moment. But also to be devil's advocate, I know the TikTok generation has been shedding a lot of information and light onto the Menendez brothers trial. But for those of us who may not necessarily be a part of the TikTok generation, the Netflix documentary was kind of like an opening door to be like, hey, there's this thing going on. Pay attention to this with the series, and then the documentary to boot. So I know this may sound weird, but there may be some validity that also helped contribute to raising awareness to what the Menendez brothers are doing. But to state it like that is horrible. Like you gotta work on how you present that, Mr. Director.
Or not say
or just
anything at all.
Say anything
at all. I mean, yeah.
Let me see. We also got a super chat from Coco Bob. Thank you so Coco much. Sorry you didn't get a chance to give us a question, but thank you for the super chat as well. This one is coming in from Jenna Anaria. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Would you like to?
Yeah, because I know you don't have your glasses.
Yeah, go.
I know. I was like, let me take over with this part. Thank you, Jenna and Area. People were also mad. Y'all liked the prosecutor when she said men can't be raped because they don't have the necessary equipment.
That's cap.
I don't. I was about to say.
Yeah, well, that doesn't even sound like me. That doesn't really sound like my personality.
Well, I think they're saying that we liked the prosecutor. I don't.
Yeah,
I honestly,
that's cap.
I can't believe
that's not true.
Yeah,
no,
I would not have said that.
Never.
I would never have
10
said
different
that.
lifetimes will we ever say this. I don't know where you got that, but that is certainly not correct. We would never promote that type of abuse. That's
never
that's ridiculous. But thank you for bringing that to our awareness that there are some people that feel
happen.
that.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things that we can also address in this conversation as well, because there may be some misconceived ideas. A lot of people are basing our entire reaction strictly off of episode 9 and strictly off of the documentary and weren't with us through the whole journey.
A lot of conversation was
had a lot of conversation, a lot of different emotional moments. I mean, we even said that scene when it was one-on-one. I even said it should be nominated for an Emmy. Yeah, episode 6. I even said it should be nominated
for. No, it was episode 5. Sorry,
for an Emmy. It was so well done.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that you got that misinformation. Let me see what else is going on real quick.
There's a lot going on. I know. I'm like, where do we begin? Where do you?
I know we're trying.
Where do you begin?
Let's see, to pick up where we left off at. I guess
I don't know where we left off. There's so much in between, though.
Here's Tiana Wright. We'll just go through.
And then once you click it, I'll read it. So Tiana Wright, the Netflix show was in no way accurate. The way you were laughing. The abuse was
laughing at the abuse.
At the abuse was so alarming. Maybe you don't believe the brothers, but there are so many other victims. Oh, and I think we had addressed this a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. Sometimes my laughing is a coping mechanism to things that are somewhat traumatic to me. Mm. So I kind of like laugh as a way to cope, live life, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I certainly don't remember laughing at anybody's abuse. I certainly remember laughing at the abuse. I still remember laughing at the songs, the absurdity of the court cases.
Judalon. Yeah, I'm always gonna laugh at Judalon. Judalon. The name in general, I just have to laugh at Judalon because I just like to say the name.
Yeah, Tiana, I challenge you to go watch the rest of the series and the reaction that we did. And if you do have time, check out the conversations that we have because we talk about all of that. This was coming from Lady Dynamite who said, I appreciate y'all for doing this though and addressing it with your audience. I know some creators wouldn't do that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Again, show is not accurate. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna read because I know you have a hard time seeing. Again, show is not accurate. You cannot base your opinion on fiction. Our opinion was our reaction, and
reaction
it was our reaction was our opinion to the show.
Whether it's true, false, or otherwise, the reaction was real,
and it's our opinion.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's one of those things. Like, you can choose to be mad at us for our reaction, but you probably should put that anger more towards the person that created the show. We're just responding to their work. Let me see. Is this
That's still the same.
That was the same one? Okay.
I don't know why it's not clicked off.
Oh, it's okay. So it's timed.
Okay.
So let's see what's going on.
Let's go with Missy. Right there. Yeah.
Go for it.
People need to learn to separate their reaction from their real feelings for the real life people. We do not know their feelings towards them, only to entertainment pieces.
Yes.
Very well said, Missy. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And very accurate.
Let me see. This goes on to what we were talking about earlier regarding the timing. This was very coincidental.
Yeah, Malachi P. There's a press conference happening right now, and the prosecution has announced that the Menendez brothers will be scheduled to be resentenced.
Right. Which was interesting. I did actually watch that. Watch bits and pieces of the district attorney talking about that. But there is going to be more of a process. Just because they're rescheduled to get resentenced doesn't mean that they're automatically going to be free. They still have to go through what is it called, the parole process. There's still another issue with maybe the governor can say something and
I'll be pardoned.
But, so it's a whole additional process, but the ball is in motion.
Well, the thing is, it's scheduled to be resentenced, not for them to be released. So there's a difference. They still have to go through the whole court process. Right. Is my assumption.
Okay, I think this is a really good question right here before we address the super chat. It's going to be super quick. This one is from Ashby Lowe. Thank you. Said laughing during the Netflix show isn't what was discussing. It was during the documentary that was so off-putting. I think that's a legitimate gripe. I do. And for me, I had already had an idea of what I was walking into based off of the series, be it true, false, or whatever. We walked into it with it, and for me, that means the absurdity of it all kind of came with me when I was watching the documentary. At no point, I know I'm not built to laugh at people's pain, so that I'm not worried about that. But if there was laughter going on about the absurdity of how all of this is going on, the absurdity of how the defense couldn't even get an opportunity to speak and all of that, guilty as charged. I certainly did do that. But even still, I still didn't get the answers that I was looking for out of the documentary.
Just real quick before you go to Nini Said So right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Nini Said So says, I feel like y'all trying to gaslight us because that was not coping during the reaction for the documentary. I just want to say that as a human and a real person, I do have my own things that I've experienced. You know what I mean? So for me, it is coping. It is the way that I cope with a lot of things. So just wanted to address that because that is factual knowledge for me.
Hey, and that is your opinion. You have the right to say it. But
absolutely. But I know.
That does not mean that we agree with that.
I'm like, I know what I cope with and how I cope. And sometimes laughter is my medicine. So
let's see.
It's down.
Which one was
way down
right
to
here? This one?
Oh no, go up. Sorry. It's right there.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Go for it. Thank you, Comment Girl, for the super chat.
Comment Girl, they didn't really explain this well in the documentary, but some of the new evidence had to do with a letter Eric wrote detailing the abuse almost a year before the murders.
Yeah, I heard that was probably one of the things that helped push the case along so that it could be reopened to prove that his essay, sorry for us having to say the letters essay instead of the actual words, but due to the algorithm, we're trying to be a little bit safer. So if that is something that can help, prove the case, I do hope it works out for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm glad that, thank you, Common Girl, because we were curious what the new evidence was based off of the at the end of the documentary, they had said that there was some new evidence, and I was just curious what it was.
Yeah, well, I think a big thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, is when the case was tried again, one of the things that was the major part of the defense, and they said this within the show as well, was using what's the word I'm looking for? Self-defense in a sense, as a reason as to why they took the parents' lives. Motive, right? And to show that SA was a part of that motive, can change it from being something like first-degree murder to manslaughter, which is a different type of sentencing term. We haven't even talked about. Well, we'll talk about it a little later. Let's just keep it to this real quick. Thank you, Common Girl. Winter Love.
No, you skipped a few.
Skipped it?
Yeah, you skipped a few.
Oh, did I? Sorry about that.
So
this one was this one. Yep. Okay, Leilani Ace. Thank you so much for the super chat.
In regards to the prosecution, when she stated the abuse was fabricated, they recently found a letter that Eric wrote to his cousin, I believe to his cousin a year or so prior to the murders, which alluded to the essay.
Right.
So again, the letter is something that's new evidence that they're submitting.
But even the district attorney said today that even people within his own group are taking issue with that being true or false, and that is going to be one of the things that they may have to like overcome in order to get the brothers free, because not everybody believes them. For whatever reason they have. This isn't a unanimous. This isn't one of those things where everybody believes they need to be free. There are a lot of people who feel some kind of way about letting them out for their crimes, and murder is a crime. So.
I mean, and public opinion is always going to have three sides to it. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Absolutely, there's going to be three sides to every story.
Thank you, Leilani, again. This one is coming from Common Girl, who said...
And Menudo members recently came out saying they were assaulted by Jose as well. They have no reason to lie. Oh, but that's new evidence.
Yeah, is new.
She's referring to some new evidence.
I would never presume that I know somebody has a reason or not to lie or not. That's up to the judge and the jury.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on that. But if it is evidence that works towards them, best of luck for that. Let me see. This one is Winter Love.
Thank you very much. I wish some of the Discord conversation were a part of reaction. I think people would have a better understanding of where y'all stand. Talked so much about the show. Thank you, though. Appreciate you doing this.
Thank you so much, Winter Love. Winter Love is a part of the Discord of the channel where we do speak, have really good conversations. Patreon members are also able to watch the show along with us. That was another thing that was going along. We were watching the show with members of the Patreon in the Discord. So even though me and Mikel-Claire on screen were watching this, we had our community watching along with us, which was
some of the series, but not the documentary.
Not the documentary, but the series. We had our community watching with us, which their concerns weren't addressed in the same way as it was in the comment section. But it's a lot different when you're accusing somebody and you can actually see and talk to them than doing that in the comment section. So that may have had a sway as to why maybe some of these issues may or may not have been brought up. It's kind of like having a camera in the room. We talked about that, having a camera in the courthouse and how things can change. Have a camera.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's that same kind of energy. Let me see. Next one is coming in from, here's a wily veteran of the channel. This one is from Monique 69 Ways Johnson.
I know I laugh when things make me nervous or uncomfortable, and sometimes when I'm about to pop off. So you are not alone. Laugh out loud. Thank you, Monique. Because I mean, that's just how I do it. How I am. I just when you're uncomfortable or when things are out of the ordinary, you kind of laugh a little bit. Sometimes.
Thank you to everybody that was in the super chat. We're going to hop back into the live chat as well. We are going to try and address your questions, but we are doing them in sequence.
We're trying to, because there's a lot. So I was about to say, I think we missed some. But.
So if there is something that you just legitimately have to get off your chest, that is what the super chat is for. Unfortunately, we're not going to be doing the horns and the applause because there's, read the room kind of thing as a time and a place for that. But if you do want to be heard very, very quickly, the super chat is the way to go about that. Let me see. This is from Menendez says no. Says so.
The documentary literally had people from the prosecution and was created by someone discovering the case and who had heard little about it.
Oh, sure.
I think maybe kind of addressing the fact that, we were saying that it's biased. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe, but all documentaries are biased.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
It's the music, the play, the scenes you choose.
Yeah, there's not even an argument with that. That's a fact. Here's something. This is from Seven, who said,
Ryan Murphy wanted to create confusion, and it's disgusting. Like, these are real people, and people run with what he chose to do with the show. I
agree and somewhat disagree. Because let's keep in mind the show is art. And it's how the artist depicts it, hence the bias. If you go into watching series or movies, things that say that are based on a true story, oftentimes you'll be left in disappointment because there's a lot that is not included, and a lot of stuff that is added, and a lot of stuff that is sensationalized in order for the sake of entertainment. It's just what happens. But thank you for that. I think we have a couple more super chats. Let me hop back into this.
Just rambling on.
Yep. Go for it.
Rambling on with Zach Jones. Thank you again. People take the laughing too serious. Not everyone reacts the same. The show is very biased, but that's not Syntell's fault. They're reacting at face value with no research.
That is the absolute heart. That is the foundation of all of this. We're reacting to the ideas of a biased man. But that's not to single him out, because like I said before, all Hollywood projects based on true life events are biased. All of them are. That's not defending him either.
No,
it's just
a fact.
We're just reacting to the art that he created.
Absolutely.
Let me see. Let's get back. But thank you again, rambling on. Let's see what's going on.
There's so many that we're not in order anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's. I don't know how to feel about that.
Oh yeah,
down one. This one. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lafayette 3110 kind of pissed me off when you guys mentioned people of color not having a fair shake. So why should they? Totally agree, and I'm hoping for reform first and foremost, because it definitely speaks to the unfairness.
That's interesting. That's a good one. Shoot, throw it. So it pissed you off that we guys mentioned people of color not having a fair shake. So why should they? I don't think we've reframed it like that. It's just that I did say that I come from a place of bias, and because of that, I truly understand what it means to not get a fair shake of the justice system. And I stand by that. That's just what it is. That's my world.
And I'm not sure if I said, so why should they? I don't.
Yeah, I think the context on that. I think people are taking things and pushing the context. Okay, that's why I want everybody to really even listen to the conversations after. Even if you don't watch the whole reaction, at least listen to the conversations that we have afterwards. It'll give you more context.
Yeah, and sometimes we're processing, and not sometimes, we're always processing it in the moment. In the moment. So sometimes it's, in the after, we're still processing, but we still have more in-depth conversation.
I mean, because I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like sometimes, when we're watching something, like I said, we look at the world through the lens of who we are, and Black folks in America, and we're talking about justice. So you're gonna probably get a very real reaction regarding some of that. That's why you watch the reaction channels to see how real people respond to things in real time. Thank you, Lafayette, for the comment. Are we good on the?
Okay, let
me just make sure. Let me check.
Oh yeah, on that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. This was coming from Ray Alexander.
Great job. Just grace and strength. You guys are doing great. This was just a reaction that was a miss, but it happens when it comes to real life people, court cases, and victims.
Yeah.
There's always going to be opinion.
There's always going to be
public opinion.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be conversation about that opinion.
I was surprised when we did Dahmer that there were some people that were really, fighting on behalf of Dahmer. So I just did not see that coming. But that's just to say that there's going to be, even if it's a very outlier type person, that's going to be like, well, how come you're not seeing it from Dahmer's side of things? I was like, wow, there's somebody out there that thinks that. Not comparing the two, just saying.
Oh, okay. I was like,
no, certainly not comparing the two. But just saying that no matter what you do when you're dealing with real life situations, especially when it's dealing with stuff like this, there are going to be some people on one side of the fence, and there's going to be people on the other side of the fence. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a super chat.
Let's see.
Bottom.
Go for it.
Breaking news. Thank you very much for the contribution. Did y'all know 20 plus family members gave a press conference calling for their release last week? I don't get the resistance to them getting out. It's been 30 years.
Yeah, I did know that the family members were going to speak, but that was a while ago. That was a few hours ago. So I'm sure. You know, I'd hope the brothers had family members fighting for them. But there are also family members, from my understanding, that don't feel that they should get out as well. Once again, there's always going to be somebody on one side, and there's going to be probably some other people on the other side, and you don't get the resistance to them getting out. I understand the resistance. The resistance is based off of the evidence that they have. There is no clear cut. I'm trying to make sure I word this correctly. It's not a question on if they did it, because they did it. It's the why behind it, and the why gets clouded. Let me state it that way. Was it manslaughter, or was it premeditated? Some people feel that when you buy shotguns days ahead, go to the range, practice it, you know, go to the car to get the guns to do this horrible act. Some people see that as premeditation. To me, it's difficult for me to convince me that it wasn't premeditated. Not to say that what happened to them wasn't wrong. It's horrible. But I think that when you're just talking about the offense of actually taking somebody's life, determining if it's premeditated or if it's a type of manslaughter, it gets really cloudy. And I think some people are having a hard time understanding the why behind that. I think that's from my personal take of it.
Oh, about them about them not getting the resistance, them getting out.
Yeah,
I think they were.
I don't get the resistance to them getting out, because some people feel that you know if you take somebody's life, then you got to do the time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like that is the resistance. Yeah. I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I and the whole that it's been 30 years. I get confused because they received a sentence. Life sentence?
Yeah, they
two
got
life sentences.
2 life sentences.
Okay, so if it's been 30 years, is that 2 life sentences?
No, but with the new evidence, it could.
I mean, with the new evidence, I get that. But as far as like there being resistance to them getting out, and it's been 30 years, I'm like, well, until we get this new evidence, or if they're, I know they're reopening the case and all this. However, at this very moment, are they serving 2 life sentences?
Yes.
Has it been 2 life sentences?
No.
Okay. That's my resistance personally. At this moment in time.
Let's go back to there's another one.
Yeah.
This one's coming also from Breaking News.
Breaking News. Thank you again. The vast majority support their release, though, and these people knew Kitty and Jose. It's their own family. Does that not give you pause?
I mean, I'm not a juror, so that's the thing. I mean, I wasn't in there to get I don't know all of the information. Based off of the little bit that I've seen, it is tough to convince somebody to be like it wasn't premeditated. That's a tough sell. I mean, and we had what is it, a hung jury? That's the term.
Yeah, the first time.
Yeah, we had a hung jury as a result of that. Obviously, there's some bias that's included in that, and that's why another reason why this piece of evidence could help overturn the second time it was tried. Mm-hmm. But it's a difficult sell. Mm-hmm. Whether you believe it or not, it is a tough sell.
And I think the thing for me is I don't know why I go back to comparing other cases, other people, other situations, mm-hmm. but I'm like, just because it was their own family and they're saying that they want them to be released, I mean, doesn't that happen in a lot of families? Like, I mean, doing a lot of people, and I'm laughing again because I'm just pondering and trying to understand. But I just, that's what I don't understand. Like, what makes their situation different than other situations that are probably extremely similar with, all of the people that are in prison at this time. So that's where I just kind of get a little thrown off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's head back to the live chat. Let's see.
Scroll down though.
We got another one.
Yep.
Oh, we do. And thank you, Breaking News, for your super chat.
Thank you, Halen's Haven. Thank you very much for joining the conversation and for the contribution. I understand going in fresh on things, but I think if there is a big TV film dramatization of a crime story, it's much better to take on documentaries or more grounded coverage of the story first.
I mean, I can see why you say that in hindsight. But when we first saw the Menendez thing, and it was based off of monsters, when we like I said, when we did the very first one, I mean, we didn't do that before, and nobody was like, you should have done your research before. I mean, I can understand, like, we're all prisoners of the moment. And I think you may be a prisoner of the moment as well, because there's lots of stuff that we watch that we don't go to the library first to react to. That just doesn't really happen a lot. But I can understand why you would say that. For us, and for me particularly, the authenticity of the reaction to me was what I think people wanted to see. That may or may not be the right decision, but that's how I went into it. Yeah. But thank you for your super chat, and thank you for your opinion. Let me see. Goodness gracious.
I think some people are having conversations.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, a lot of it is conversation.
Okay. Oh, no, let's take shots. Yeah, let's get the ones that are very direct.
Yeah. 81. So you can claim that you're laughing as a coping mechanism, yet the brothers on the stand weren't believable because they didn't show emotion.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't the only people that felt that. There was other folks that said they look cold on the stand. They look cold to me in some cases. I'm just y'all wanted the real reaction. That's how I really felt. I mean, I didn't have a backstory about, the brothers being, who they may be in real life. On the stand, they look shady.
And it was part of, honestly, the person who did the documentary.
Yeah.
That's the parts of the trial that they chose to show me. So I was reacting to what they showed me.
Once again.
Now, there may be other parts that maybe they showed emotion, and that's very possible and probably very true. But from what I saw on the documentary,
they look shady.
It was a very low affect.
Now keep in mind that may or may not be true, but that was the initial reaction. That's what you watch the reactions for. Sometimes when you watch a reaction, the reaction isn't always going to be what you want. It's what we're feeling in the moment. But thank you for the comment.
What's going on?
Let me see. I'm just trying to look at
that's a good one.
This one right here?
Yeah. AMV, or is either AMV or AMV. Thanks so much for giving space for the criticism. For more information, there are so many documentaries on the case that goes into details of the case.
Yeah.
And thank you for that, because I'm sure that there are many people that will do much more research, watch other documentaries. I heard there's possibly one on Hulu.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's probably way more information than I'm even aware of. You can go probably look at court documents and there's all kinds of things that you could do.
Yeah.
But thank you. You're welcome for giving the space, because that's, like I said, that's what we enjoy, is the conversation.
Thank you. This one, easier said with Meg. Oh my God, the comments under y'all's videos were insufferable. I mean, they could be some tough reads, but it's how you feel. So, you take the good with the bad. When we're lavish with love, we're quick to read them. And on the flip side of that, this is the bed that we made, and I have no problem addressing it at all.
Well, and the thing for me, just like how, we have our own way of processing and putting things out there, as far as like when we're reacting in the moment, like, I appreciate and accept all comments as people are reacting in their moment. You know what I mean? When after they've watched a piece of art, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I give the same respect to that.
Yeah. And also, I know this may be going a little off topic a little bit, but for me, in case you didn't know, I've actually worked in the business where these things get built. So I see, sometimes I can see things with a critical eye from the creator standpoint. And that doesn't necessarily always translate well to, you know, how the story is going, or maybe missing a key moment because I'm looking at the lighting, or I'm looking at how this actor's portraying this moment, or the locations. Like if you're a fan of the channel, then you know that's just a part of how I get down. Let's see what else.
Super chat.
Oh, we got a super chat again. Thank you. This one is from Breaking News again. Thank you.
Oh, there's two from Breaking News. Yeah.
Thank you, Breaking News, for supporting the channel.
Why does it need to be premeditated? If your own kids were being tormented, would you care if they killed their abusers? I wouldn't.
Well, because we live in a land of laws, and you have to be very careful with that, because just because it fits your precedent, it could be used and pigeonholed into something else. That's why we have laws set in place. But yeah, emotionally speaking, like let me be clear.
Yeah, we've said this.
And we said this in the show.
Many
I
times.
have no love for Jose and Kitty. You know, karma's karma. You know, you did those horrible things. They caught up with you. You know, to me, there's some street justice, you know, but I don't want to live in a world where street justice is the norm, because that can get out of control. So I'm happy to live in a land of laws.
And the thing is, well, with the question, would you care if they killed their abusers? I would care because they would be in prison right now.
Yeah.
Serving 2 life sentences. So would I care? Absolutely. Would I feel like I would have wanted that to occur, or for them not to be with us any longer? Absolutely. But would I care if my child did that? Yeah, because they would be suffering the consequences of that action.
Yeah, I mean, if something happened to a member of my family, I'm not going to say I'm going to be perfectly irrational thought. Who knows how I would act. And for me, and in my head, it's justified and it's justice for me. It's vigilante justice.
Yeah,
but that doesn't work in a land of laws. Let's see. Breaking news again. Thank you again for the super chat. After episode 5, you even said the parents got what they got. So why switch it up? We didn't switch it up. There was no switch up. There's at no point in time were we forgiving of Kitty and Jose. Now I will say there was a point after episode 7 when the switch happened and they yanked the carpet out from under us and left everything in that gray state of area. I do remember asking you the question. I do remember saying, I was like, do you believe that they did it? And I do remember the both of us saying, you know, even though stuff is still gray and crazy, I personally believe that they were abused. That's just how I personally feel about it. I don't know if I'm right, but that's my personal bias. I think somebody did something to those 2 boys. Let's see. Let's go back. Oh, sorry, everybody. We got about 7 more minutes. So unfortunately, we won't be able to address all of the questions. Let me just scroll down some. I know
there's a lot going on. I saw somebody say, wow, this is getting out of hand. I'm like, I don't know what's happening in the comments. I'm just
let me see.
Okay, this.
Which one?
This ADA.
Let's go this one. Yeah, it looks like a shot.
ADA or Ada McGarity. Thank you for your comment. If everyone reacts differently, why would you judge Lyle based about how he reacted to question about his trauma? I showed lack of empathy.
It's supposed to be lack, I think.
I showed lack of empathy probably because that is how he coped.
I mean, that may be. So everyone reacts differently. Why would you judge Lyle based on how he just reacted? Back to the question about his trauma.
I don't think I was judging him. I was reacting to what was happening.
Yeah, I think there's that weird thin line. It's a weird thin veil between judging and reacting.
Okay.
And oftentimes they're one and the same.
Okay.
So we probably did react in real time to what he was doing, and that our reaction is that truth.
Yeah.
But just because you react one way doesn't mean you wholeheartedly necessarily agree. Sometimes it's shock, sometimes it's awe, sometimes you're just confused. I mean, it's a reaction. That's why y'all watch the reaction. That's why we have the review after the reaction, because we've had time to kind of like process.
Well, not even a lot of time, but
not a lot of time. But it gives us time to process what it is that we just got done watching. If that makes sense.
I think we have another. Maybe not.
No,
maybe not.
Okay.
One.
Here's one. Let's take it head on.
Okay. They are clearly not owning up. No one is denying what they did, but are trying to argue imperfect self-defense.
No one is denying what they did, but they were trying to argue imperfect self-defense.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's motive. You know, if they can work that in so that it works for what happened, cool. I mean, that's the justice system.
Okay.
I don't understand what the statement may be saying.
I'm not sure either.
Okay. Yeah, if the evidence works for them, then go for it.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm not sure. Just
here's somebody.
Lalita.
Yeah.
Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I don't think it is cloudy at all. I think it's black and white. Okay.
I mean, I maybe you got the same information that some of the jurors got that can make you, make it that
clear.
Make it that clear. Me and a lot of other people have not gotten that type of information, whether it's black or white. But I certainly respect your opinion. Let's see. Let's see. There's some of this other stuff. This one is coming from Frank.
Frank. I have extreme sympathy for all. I can say from my own experience, I wouldn't be alive today if I didn't learn to laugh at all sorts of horrible things with the abuse and trauma I faced. Yeah. Sorry for.
Thank you, Frank.
Yes. Frank is another wonderful.
Yes.
Very active in the Discord.
Yes, Frank is very active. Thank you for being there. Let me see. Here's something. Ashby, let's take it on the chin.
The anger isn't about whether you think they should or shouldn't get out. It's that you were incredibly insensitive during some very serious stuff that happens to people every day. Okay.
I'm not going to deny her truth. If that's how she feels, that's how this person feels. I mean, that was the reaction that we had. In case somebody missed it, for me, like I said, after episode 7, a lot of it became really absurd. So I was laughing at the absurdity of everything. And also I was laughing at the brothers because they came off as not the smartest criminals in the world, and I thought that was that to me got some laughs out of me. But a lot of that was before I found out about the essay.
Well, and for me, even now when I say Judalon, I just like to say it. So it's little things like that that just make me laugh, because Judalon was a hot mess and just, it was interesting. And I do understand that there are serious things that happen to people every day. I work with people every day that go through a lot of traumatic experiences. I'm not laughing at their experiences. I'm laughing at the show and how it's portraying things, or the documentary and how things are being portrayed.
Unfortunately, we are getting super, super close for time. It's almost 6 o'clock. I said we were going to go about an hour. I know we got to wrap this up. I'll give like maybe 1 minute or two to anybody that just absolutely has to have something said. And within the super chat, while I look for something else real quick.
Let's do James right there.
James real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
James Sauer. I appreciate you guys. I may not agree with everything you guys felt or said, but I disagree with people saying your reactions were disrespectful or wrong.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. It's like I said, I learned a lot about from this one. I certainly learned some stuff. Not a whole lot's going to change, because we still want to make sure the reactions are authentic. But when it comes to certain subject matters, there's going to be some pushback, especially if you may not agree directly with what the public consensus is, and that's fair. That's fair. Let me see.
That cloud one is kind of funny.
Let me see. They never practiced shooting. Y'all still believe the show is real? I mean, I'd hope they would have practiced before you never used a shotgun, but I have nothing to base that on. I'd be curious if there is a website that talks about all of the things that the Netflix series got wrong.
Sorry, no, don't put it on there, but go down too.
Okay.
Right within. Yep, no, go down one.
No, I'll put it on there. Nico, no, we lean in. You guys are pathetic. You are certainly entitled to that opinion. Thank you for hopping into the live chat and voicing your opinion. Yo, it's humbling to know that everybody's gonna agree with you. Let's appreciate
well,
you.
And like I said, I respect opinions. You don't respect mine, but I respect yours. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, right. Hey,
I'm kidding.
Right. How I react is how I react. Let me see. I think that's about it. I think we're just about done. Anything you want to say to kind of close this bad boy out? Any closing thoughts?
I just want to say, regardless of what happens, regardless of all of it, I'm grateful for the conversation. I always am. I'm open to conversation. Mm-hmm. I'm open to learning new knowledge, things of that nature. But this is my opinion. This is my reaction based off of what's presented to me. And so it will always be my authentic reaction.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a YouTube reactor. What you get is authentic. It may not necessarily it may rub you the wrong way in the beginning, but that's why we have the moments at the very end where we actually talk about the things that we said. At no point in time do we ever go out of our way to try and hurt somebody or to try to be disrespectful. But we will certainly have our opinions about the thing that we are reacting to, and that's not going to change. But I certainly understand why it can ruffle feathers. And y'all's truth is your truth. You know, how you feel is how you feel. I'm not going to say how you feel is invalid, not by any means. How you feel is valid. Believe that. And, you know, so thank you all. Oh, we got a couple more super chats. Okay, let's great. Thank you so much for the support. This one is coming from
Kashan or Kayshawn.
Hey,
thank you very much. I don't understand why people are so upset.
It's a touchy it's a very touchy subject. And it is we are all prisoners of the moment right now. Because it is one of the hottest subjects that's going on today. So there's going to be some pushback. That's just to be expected. Yeah. And those that rock with us, and those that don't, you know, maybe check us out at a later time. You may rock with us a little bit later.
Yeah. Leilani, thank you and have a great night. You as well. I appreciate you joining the conversation. Like I said, I love conversation and thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you. And then this is the last.
MJ exploring. I'm curious. It still seems like you internalized the fiction from episode 6. You both were all on board before that episode.
Yeah. Well, I think for me it was a more stable footing for me to on how I felt about the whole situation. Then 7 came and just
knocked it over.
Yeah, I think that to me it was a dramatic turn for me in the series after episode 7. Nothing was the same after that.
Yeah, and I think that was the intention of the director.
That's absolutely the intention of the director.
So I applaud the director for getting the reaction that he probably intended.
Yeah. That's it for this live. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to take the shots. We are very, very well aware that, you know, we are in the public space and what we say is going to be critiqued. And we will address it. Thank you for addressing it with me. Because I know you didn't have to do this. So I'm just saying thank you for doing that. And thank you all for having patience with us, and those that rock with us, it's still going to continue. And for those that don't, we hope to win you over a little bit later on. You can always come back, and and we're gonna have a really good time. Y'all take care, and we'll catch you on the next project. All right, y'all take care.
Are we out all together?